Welcome back, everybody. Jinx. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to do a quick meta breakdown before we get into this next match. We've got a good one lined up for you. Looks like a Victor versus Kayo and teammates. So someone's going to get knocked out who likes the other person, hopefully. We have 5 Kasai, 5 Kayo, and 5 Victor. Very clean spread of some decks that I think we all expected. Kasai maybe coming in a little more than we would think. Kayo a little less. Followed by 4 Azalea and 3 Kano. This guy keeps showing up and trying to sneak wins. I know that he's got some pretty good matchups. He's got some pretty disgusting game plans as well with his second cycle.
Interesting to me is as many Reinhardt as there are Kano.
Wow,
3
Reinhardt. That's incredible. And 2 Dash.io as well. Is that I saw a couple Dash.IEs on the table. I don't see them right now. Is this possible that maybe we got the wrong Dash up there? I don't know. Okay, well, we've got 2 Dorinthia, 2 Katsu, 2 Prism. Okay. Yes, okay, so not 2 Dash.io, it's 2 Dash.IEs out there, as well as smattering of ones here. Arachne, Levia, Riptide, Azuri, and Vincent. All very kind of cool dark horse picks. Levia is actually one of the interesting ones. I consider her to be quite powerful. Only seeing 1 today is interesting. So, yeah, what do you think about this meta breakdown?
Well, I'm rooting for that lone Azuri still.
Lone Azuri, awesome. Love it. Yeah. So we'll bring you into our match here now. The players are set up. Looks like they're having a fun time. Teammates, I'm not sure which team they're on. They were telling me they're teammates.
It's the Vegas boys.
The Vegas boys, is that?
Is over in Vegas, yeah.
All right. 100 Thieves shirt and the Metal Fab. Oh, the Metal Fab tokens. For those of you who don't know Metal Fab tokens, they've got some awesome Metal Fab tokens. Pick them up.
Yeah, they're really nice. Really good finger feel.
Getting that shuffle nice and clean. So tell me a little bit about, I know that you like to play Victor.
I do.
Have you ever played into a Kayo before?
Hundreds of times.
How does that feel? How do you feel about this matchup in general, Victor versus Kayo?
I'm never delighted to see it, but at least I know what I'm in for.
Okay.
The clashes get far worse because Kayo's hero power means that every 5 is a 6, so you draw on a lot of clashes, and then you always risk like losing if they flip a swing big or something pretty powerful like that, because that's a 9.
So Victor, the guy who likes to kind of cheat, pay to win, if you will, golden boy, always paying his way to victory, doesn't get to do that so easily against this Kayo.
Yeah.
Maybe a fair match instead of a cheating one. And of course, I'm kidding. It's not really cheating. It's how the hero's designed, but very flavorful. Drawing cards each time he makes a gold, winning clashes, showing his superior might through the power of his attack action.
He wants to be the victor, and it's
absolutely.
It's a little contested against KO, but it's not a buy. It's a matchup that you have a few percentage stacked up on top of you.
It looks
like
45
to 55.
Peter may have gone and picked himself a KO Armory deck recently because it looks like he's running the new chess piece. Do you remember the name of that chess piece?
It is called Savage Sash.
Savage Sash.
And
this chess piece is powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it gives a cost reduction of 1 for your brute attack action cards.
Each brute attack action card. It says destroy this attack action cards with 6 or more power.
It's not even brute.
That's true. Any attack action. So this counts for a command and conquer. That's pretty incredible. Cost 1 less to play this turn. Go again and temper 2. So it can even block more than the tunic that that Kayo was traditionally running. Pretty awesome to have a tunic replacement for this class here. As we start things off, Peter pitching, or I'm sorry, creating an agility token with the I
think Peter won the die roll, and Dalton simply Arsenal passed and
got
drew
it.
a card.
Okay.
And then Peter got to Agile Wind Up.
So the Agile Wind Up was on Dalton's turn. Now he's playing a runner, recreating that agility. 6 go again as Dalton chooses to take 2 damage with a defense reaction, Fate Foreseen, right?
Taking a peek. He left it on top as well, so maybe he likes the clash
Yep.
here.
And, ooh, cast bones.
He
Great
denies
start
him that value, though.
for
He just cast bones
Peter.
instead.
Well, we'll see what he hits here. Oops, as we get a
There's
drop
one
on the
blood
table.
rush. Oh, a cast
Ooh,
bones.
so only 4 on this.
Interesting.
So, but he already has the agility, and not terrible. He would have liked to see those extra 2, but knowing that he's going to draw into probably either a cast bones, a blood rush, or both, we'll see how he navigates this coming turn.
It could be an awkward hand if he has both of them in hand to draw up next.
Yes, very possible that this is an extremely awkward hand. He does not want to have a blood rush and a cast bones in the same hand. That'll clog things up a bit for him, especially if he needs to discard cards from hand that care about 6 power.
There's also no blue in this hand.
True. A couple yellows, but he will be struggling a little bit for resources. Maybe.
It could just be just a giant E-strike.
Sure. I was going to say we might see him decide to block with the chest and use it early to get him out of a pickle if his hand does not cooperate. See what the players decide to do here as Dalton cuts, and they put those cards back on top of the deck for Peter to draw up.
Though fortunately, Dalton has 3 cards in arsenal to work with, so let's see what he makes of this hand.
4-card hand, which Victor...
Okay, so he holds red. That's a debilitate. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he arsenal though. He quickly put it there on his opening turn.
And it looks like
E-strike.
he sends the E-strike coming in for... Let's see what he chose.
It's got to be go again, yeah.
5, go again. Putting a card on the bottom. Probably one of those blues.
He definitely wants to snag the debilitate red.
Yep.
This is nice because this is a matchup that I'm very familiar with and heroes that I'm very familiar with.
Yes, 2 very popular heroes at the moment as Peter decides no blocks. Not very surprising coming from the aggressive Brute. Dalton pitching a blue, coming in for 4 more using Titan's Fist, which says that if he pitches a card with cost 3 or greater, gets +1 on that base 3.
So I think Peter holds the blood rush because he blocked with the cast bones instead.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, he did draw it up. So blocks with the cast bones, just getting the value and getting that miss out of his hand. He does not want to discard that and end his turn.
Dalton also presenting balance of justice. So he's prepared for a blood rush here.
Looks like he's got a Sink Below and a Golden Sun in hand. See how he uses those. Peter playing Blood Rush, discards Send Packing. 1 floating resource.
Drew an E-strike and a wild ride. So not incredible.
Well, while the E-strike doesn't get the bonus attack from the Blood Rush, it does...
Drawing a card to the agility
exactly allow him to choose to draw a card and possibly fish for some better options. 1 card, 9, go again is nothing to scoff at.
Golden Sun in hand. I think 2 blue machos and a sink. Dalton wants to keep at least 1 blue to send that debilitate next turn.
He's got that Tunic counter like you mentioned, so that clean 2-card 8. Guardian's Bread and Butter. Thinking about how to block. It's vanilla damage, but I think it's also, you know, you've got a limited, you've got 40 life to work with. You can't just be taking 9.
You could just fish for a better card with this sink on this chain link.
Without the gold, the Golden Sun may be something that he'd rather bottom and save for later.
Yeah, Golden Sun isn't the be-all, end-all in this matchup, but like it's a good closer, just like it is into generally a lot of matchups.
Giving the shield.
Okay.
So perhaps thinking about sending the Golden Sun. We'll see what he
So
sings.
he doesn't want to bleed any damage on this chain link. That's fine.
Probably put that Golden Sun on the bottom, and he did.
Ooh.
Send Packing. This is tough. He'll probably need to use armor to cover this up. And
Bit of a pain.
Possibly a lot of it. 2 cards in hand, showing the debilitate. And this is coming in for 8, thanks to the Blood Rush Bellows. Very difficult to cover that up.
This is kind of a read by Peter saying that depending on how many cards he gives me, Dalton just Chalking up his
Wow.
losses.
Just says, okay, you get me. No debilitate.
Pommy. Interesting.
And just swings the hammer instead.
Fist for
Looks
4.
like he may have forgotten
Look, another
the
blood
tunic
rush.
counter, unless his opponent is kind on the back end of this.
Nah, that's unfortunate.
Something that I do pretty much exclusively. For me, tunic is not much more than an iron wrought chest.
I could not say the same. Tunic has saved my bacon in so many games.
Yep. So we've got another Blood Rush Bellow. Peter coming in hot with the draws. Discarding a Bare Fangs. Creating a Might off the back of Kayo's hero ability and drawing 2 cards, 2 floating resources. Looks like he's got a Command and Conquer and an Assault and Battery as well as a Agile Wind-Up in hand. So not the greatest, you know, nothing too, I think he would have preferred to keep that Bare Fangs in hand. But coming in with the Claw for 5, I'm sorry, for 6, thanks to the Might token. 6 go again on a weapon. It's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage, but it's just raw.
Yep. Dalton looking at this, thinking about it.
Looks like he just has a hand of blues. It's not incredible for him either.
Yeah. Maybe looking to get his 13 value out of this. Oh, and he decides this is the turn to block with Balance of Justice.
He's probably fishing for a red or something impactful.
Yeah. Maybe needs to, see the top of his deck for something better. Just a yellow Agile Wind-Up coming in for 8. Decides to choose to play that over the Command and Conquer, which would
balance in
not have
response. What do you find?
Yep, draws a card.
I think it's just. Oh, is that spinal?
I didn't see it. Maybe we can switch the hand cam and get a better look. Yeah, Red Thunderquake.
Oh, T-Quake. That's Palmy.
Oh, so he's got a Spinal and a Thunderquake. So much better looking hand here. He could block with one of those reds if he wants to and send the other one.
Thing is, neither one of them really squarely lines up with this hand because he's already spent one of his blues to block. He does have Tunic, but Tunic only just helps him in that he can send Spinal with Thunderquake and the Tunic.
Yeah. So he's really debating here about preserving life versus sending, and he chooses to send that Thunderquake next turn rather than dawdle around and keep his life high. I mean, 27 to 30, they're still, this is a, they're trading blows here.
Yeah, Peter's been through 2 Blood Rush, so like a lot of power has already been spent in just a few turns, so that's not the worst.
Really great spot, I think.
Oh, pardon me. Oh, okay, it was his 4th card. Well, this is perfectly serviceable.
Yep, 10 damage coming through. Peter with a 5-card hand, thinking about whether he wants to stop any of this or some of it. Shuffling through very quickly.
I think he was afraid of Arsenal Disruption, so he just chose to send it now as opposed to leaving it.
That makes sense to me.
Also, you're a bit more vulnerable when you heave when you don't have Crown of Providence.
Right. Heads up, the opponent can see that you're doing it.
Peter's hand looks very blue heavy, so less power to be seen, but he's still going to throw some okay damage.
Here comes the Command and Conquer. So there's that Arsenal Disruption, 7 damage, but Dalton did an Arsenal.
Yeah, that would have been an annoying break point.
Really smart play line there from Dalton, deciding to keep that Arsenal clear.
And he still has Tunic to send a 2-card.
Yeah, he's been sitting on that Tunic for a bit here.
He has a Golden Sun in hand. I wonder if he pops Shield now to cash in some Tunic value, or he stays a bit patient.
I haven't seen any blocking cards, rather block cards that will create gold from Dalton yet if you clash. Those can be real make or break cards in this matchup, whether you win or lose that and create the gold. I do know that Victor can be, it can be difficult to give up your only gold when you have yet to get through all of those blocking cards. Because
absolutely.
Sometimes you want to keep that gold around too.
I think, considering this hand, I think it's keep the choke slam and send it with Tunic.
Sure. Huh? Maybe thinking he'd rather push the damage. Really having to think about it, the choke slam is a very valuable card in this matchup. If it's able to crush, it prevents attack action cards from gaining power, which, as we all know, those might tokens do exactly that. Blocking
Okay.
4, or I'm sorry, taking 4, blocking 3.
Perhaps
down to
pocketing the
23.
Golden Sun instead?
Aha. So, wants to save one of these cards for later. Currently no might token on the field, so Chokeslam just a vanilla 8 unless something happens to change that. And he sends the Golden Sun, valuing the immediate damage, saving the Chokeslam for maybe a...
Yeah, Peter points out, like, yeah, you need Tunic to cast this.
Yeah.
So he did rep Shield just to send 10.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe just getting the value while he can, treating those future block cards, which we actually don't know if he's running. He could have made the choice to cut them, knowing that clashes are difficult to run into a KO. Unlikely, but possible.
I would still argue that Test of Strength is a safer bet because at the very least, even if you lose or draw that clash, you block 4.
Yeah.
Trounce is a mixed bag.
Sure. Yeah, we've had this conversation late at night in the past.
A very big risk if you play it into KO that, yes, you could draw on one of them and no one will win, but you only block 3 and you got nothing else out of that card.
So blocks 5 using one of the counters on his Apex Bonebreaker to create a Might token.
Exactly. Ian in the chat. Trounce is good, but Test of Strength is better.
There it is. You heard it here first. So pulping, discarding a, believe it or not, it's a 6 power. So this will get Dominate, and
make the Might. Yep.
as long as it's not blocked with 2 or more cards, it will have Go again.
Non-equipment cards.
Non-equipment cards. Thank you for the clarification. So Peter with no arsenal, not much of a risk of putting a defense react and then and stopping the Go again. So Mandible Claw now coming in for 3 power, 2 floating resources. 21 life to 21 life. This is neck and neck. 2 of the new heavy hitters heroes really battling it out, showing what these kind of slugfests look like as a Command and Conquer now comes onto the chain. 6 power, threatening that arsenal. No Tunic counter means he can't play that now. We know that it's a Choke Slam, a 4-cost attack.
No, it's just going to be a hammer this turn cycle.
Just a hammer. And we see the exchange of blows once again.
He's still healthy enough. I'm sure he's fine with it. The thing that really changes this matchup is that Kayo can have 3 more health in Savage Sash.
Yep.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Looking at the armor here, the life totals look the same, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential block on Dalton's side, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left on Peter's. So the armor suite much healthier on Peter's side of the board. Kind of scary for Dalton when you put it in that perspective. Sending another pulping.
CNC goes to the bin.
Yep, discarding that 6. So this has 7 and Dominate, pushing some damage. And it has Go again unless he arsenaled a defensive card, which...
Unfortunately, we know that answer. He did not.
Yep.
Yeah, these pulpings really are ripping through some of the life total.
Yeah, one of the better cards from Kayo at getting damage dealt unblockable, well, blockable with 1 card from hand. Using the Civic Steps here to stop 5 of it, taking 2, and a Pack Hunt, another card that's fantastic for pushing damage as it will intimidate a card from Dalton's hand, and it might be a card that he was hoping to block with. No longer available.
I think they were all blue, so I don't think he cares what he's going to put in front.
So probably just going to lay these 2 down and come back with another hammer swing. Very methodical play from Dalton as he just keeps utilizing that Titan's Fist. as a clapback.
It's unfortunate that he's been basically beaten in so consistently by Kayo, but I guess that is what Kayo was built to do as a deck.
And I think the real difference maker here is just the amount of armor that Peter has left. You'd think the Guardian player was the one with more armor, but not in this case. The Tunic sort of coming in and cutting back. While it does provide value throughout the game, it sort of takes away from the overall blocking potential.
Hey Clark, when you're on the receiving end of everything KO has, like, you do have to just block 9 and send 4 sometimes.
Yeah, it's a good point.
They're busy beating your face in. You can't keep all the cards.
I can say when I play Victor, I'm playing a lot of Go Again, 15 power turns. So not always the sit back and swing for 4 gameplay. But against KO, I'll admit I do this as well. He just has so much offensive power. You have to, you know, take your lickings and hopefully get value on the other end from cards like Hold the Line, Balance of Justice, and maybe some disruption in the form of Pummel and or Tear Asunder if you have that.
Taking a look at these lists.
Yeah.
Dalton does have Pummel, but I have no clue as to whether he's actually sided it into this matchup or not.
It looks like he's also running Tear Asunder, a card that I really like in this matchup because, like I said, KO's kind of presenting more damage than Victor can handle. Even with block with 3 cards and send hammer, you just kind of fall behind with that game plan. But if you're able to disrupt what KO is trying to do...
Peter taking a calculated gamble because he decided to rip Wild Ride while still holding a Cast Bones. Is that the one? No, he
wins the gamble.
He's absolutely never punished.
Yeah.
And will go up a card instead.
Absolutely. This is actually, you know, this could have been a game-changing play here if he...
Dalton says, Judge.
Uh-huh.
Is he allowed to do that? Is he allowed to get this lucky?
Putting the Enlightened Strike into his hand, showing it face up since that is known information. And
oh, maybe there was a serious judge call.
Oh, okay.
Peter is meant to banish the card and then put it into.
Uh-huh. So he takes 1 damage from that, going down to 12. Looks like everybody's happy with the way things resolved.
Brutes get the luck earlier, it makes the devastating brick later funnier. Yes, but you have to survive that onslaught.
Yes.
You don't always get there.
7, Go Again. No opportunity to blow this out with a defense reaction like with the pulping. As Dalton thinks about his blocks. Seems...
Everyone is lost at this table. Okay. Is that a red choke slam? He's probably debating, like, this is worth keeping.
Trying to read his lips here. Something. KO's overpowered. I can't believe this hero's legal.
Well, not for much longer.
I still think that KO is going to have a bit of a lull in the coming larger tournaments.
I think it's going to do with new. Because if a bunch of KOs turn up to a tournament, like a Battle Hardened, and they meet the, like, handful of news, or maybe even giant wave equal to the KOs, like, that matchup does not seem good.
We've got the Enlightened Strike, bottoming a card. I think he chose to draw so that he can just arsenal that last card and have another 5-card hand going into next turn.
Yeah.
Asking Dalton, you just took 4. How would you like to take 5 more? Dalton sitting with 3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. Giving the Civic, so maybe he did give Go Again to the Enlightened Strike.
Oh, does he want to chip in with Claw?
Possibly chip in with Claw, possibly... Whoa, what is going on over there?
There's a custom Quicken token.
That's a Quicken? It looks even faster than a Quicken. It's a very fast-looking Quicken token, just flying down that highway. It looks like it's from, what's the name of the mechanologist city?
Metrics.
Yeah,
it does look like it's from Bright Lights.
Looks like he's speeding through the subway in Metrics. Beautiful art there.
Oh, so he still gets his
There's the
agility
Cast
anyway.
Bones.
It doesn't matter because he's got a Quicken, because they both pop together.
So perhaps that was some of the reasoning. He didn't know he was playing Cast Bones, but he knew he was going to play something. And whether it was a Cast Bones or another card, that Quicken would have been used. So 6 mites, a quicken, an agility, 12 to 11. This is not looking great for Dalton in this spot.
He's also drawn not a single test of strength.
True.
And I've had games like this.
Not a single test of strength so far. Really, really important for Victor. If he wants to win, he needs to get that card advantage that he was designed to get through the hero power. Whenever he makes a gold token, he gets to draw a card, and test of strength is exactly what he wants to be doing.
Oh, welcome in, Mr. Steelfur. Kayo actually had really low conversion today at Warsaw. I did see that.
That's kind of what I'm saying. You know, we'll see, but I think the bigger tournaments might have... The thing about him is that he doesn't block well. Great offensive power, but the heroes that can, you know, take advantage of his cards like Pulping, like Wild Ride, they don't have a block value printed on them.
Yeah.
So those on-hits can be devastating.
The way I define Kayo when I explain him to people that don't otherwise already know is like he's kind of boilerplate brute.
Sure. Yeah.
He's very face up.
Sure.
He's just a lot of raw damage and good numbers, but you know, that being your forte means that you don't have on hits that wrest away control from your opponent.
Sure. Yep, no real. I mean, he does have a lot of arsenal disruption, so there's some threatening on hits, but it's not the same as
they're the
like
few
an
and far
Azalea,
between
right?
from what the main of the deck
Exactly.
does. Yeah, exactly.
So, looks like pass to Dalton here. Did he block any of that 5 damage? I think maybe, yeah, it looks like he gave a card, right? And the armor, I remember now. And he's
the 2-card
cashing that, cashing that tunic counter in finally. No floating, 8 damage. And this is really important for Peter to block, because if this hits, it will negate all 6 of those might tokens. So Peter must give at least some armor, maybe a card.
I mean, he's got his selection of what 2 block armor piece and 1 card he can
really
give, so
not a lot of issues for him to block this out. He could give just armor if he wanted the 4-card hand. It looks like he's opting to give the Savage Sash, indicating maybe looking to use that soon. So I do like that block. Blocking 5, taking 3. Crush says it must deal 4 damage to be active. So no crush on this. Therefore, no on-hit effect.
Arsenal pass, says Dalton. Okay.
Yep, are active for the following turn. Here they come. 6 power.
That's
Agility
a bunch of
pops.
numbers.
Go again, and there it is, the Savage Sash. So Peter's looking to blow this game wide open. Ooh, and a runner remaking the agility, just on an absolute roll here.
1 card, 12, go again, producing agility.
Yep. Coming in for 12.
Big exhale from Dalton.
It looks like
I know, man. I know.
Dalton, he can't cry on camera, so he's laughing. Just look at that. Such a funny number, 12. Usually I have to spend 4 cards to make that number happen. So funny.
Okay, a sink below. Some other stuff.
Looking to the sky for help.
I think he's just really assessing, like, is this damage I'm staring down going to kill me?
Well,
do I have to fold the entire hand?
There's a lot of cards. And it's tough, too, because, you know, you don't know if there's arsenal disruption following this up. And if there is, which send packing as a 3 cost, unless you've popped that chess piece. He's got 2 floating. So he's representing a send packing. He's representing a Command and Conquer.
Oh, yeah. That's
possibly representing a Wild Ride into something. So there's a lot of potential damage coming off the back of this turn.
Dalton looking up and asking why him. That's every time I match into Kayo at a bigger tournament.
Yep. And so there's the blocking 6 with a sink below, totaling 10, taking 2.
I don't know, maybe I'll be changing my tune by the time I grapple with Nu, saying, "Oh, just feed me all the KO.
Yeah.
I'll take him on the chin."
Ooh, and there's a send packing just saying, I will do all the damage. I'm sorry, pack hunt, not a send packing. I saw it.
It's got pack in the name.
That's exactly what
you're half right.
So he won't be able to block with that card as it was intimidated out of his hand, banished for the remainder of this turn.
I'm going to have to hope it was the blue that he swings fist with, otherwise...
going down to 3
Peter just
life.
gave him an
Tough
intellect
spot.
penalty.
Tough spot for Dalton. Peter creating the agility on the back of that turn from the runner is a pretty big deal here. As
Here is
Dalton.
4, good sir.
Yep.
Oh, look, it's another blood rush.
Ooh. There's Blood Rush, Swing Big, Send Packing. A lot of power cards in Peter's hand. I can't imagine he wants to give anything from his hand, possibly some armor as the game gets closer. Can sometimes be a good idea to get the Battle Worn value rolling, but he says no blocks. 5 health is plenty to work with outside of any kind of pummel shenanigans.
Me name
range.
brute, me no block.
Yep. And he pitches that Send Packing for a Swing Big, 2 cards in hand. So interesting choice not to block if he doesn't use either of those cards.
Actually, I just did the dumb brew impression, but this is actually a smarter play by Peter because he's operating with more hidden information.
I see.
He's saying, look, I've got a bunch here. Let's see how much you block. And then he's going to probably send the Swing Big on the other chain link. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. 4 cards.
Because Dalton
16.
Has to give... It needs to be a... Yeah,
and
that's game.
Absolutely.
Doesn't even need the blood rush.
Crazy turn at the end there. Peter closing it out with 2 Swing Bigs, 4 card 16. Good game.
I mean, seeing that much early game, like you're guaranteed to chip a bunch of the damage in. So it's no surprise that like he got to close it fairly swiftly. I don't even think we hit like 10 turns total. So
sure. I'm curious to know, maybe I'll talk to Dalton after the game and see if he brought any of those test of strengths in, or if it was a choice not to, thinking, I'm going to lose the clash anyway. So it could have been just a little bit of bad luck on his side, or a choice. I think, are we doing an interview on this one? We could. We've got time.
We've got plenty of time with that round.
Okay. So maybe we'll come back to you with a little bit of an interview from the winner. Why don't we go to break and sort that out? And we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Here I've got Peter Buddensiek, winner of round 2, playing Kayo against his teammate Dalton. Yeah. How are you doing today, Peter?
Good. You know, finally did not start AG03 like the last couple times, but yeah, no, it's been a good day. Yeah, you know, playing something different today, but you know, it was pretty fun.
Right. Speaking of, you know, it looks like people in chat, and you and I were just chatting about, you don't usually play Kayo. Normally you, one letter different. Kano main. Why'd you decide to play Kayo today?
Yeah, usually play Kano. I've been like loving that deck for the last like a long time. But I don't know, sometimes I've been looking at a lot of the spoilers and as everybody there, and also like the Sash came out and I wanted to try it, and you know, after looking at Enigma and what Enigma does, and you know, Copium for the last 2 weeks here, after you know we got Blue Illusionist coming out,
that's tough.
I was like, you know, what's the likeliness of Kano being good at all, you know, in the next set? And, you know, we already got Prism, which is a terrible matchup.
True.
Ward Blue Illusionist.
Yeah.
Like, surely that's a bad matchup, too. So I was kind of coping this week, and I decided that, like, hey, if I'm not going to be able to play him for, you know, next set, I should probably start playing more characters. And I used to be playing, like, play Chain, Briar, 5 primarily, and aggro decks like that for the longest time before I started playing Kano. And so I was like, I'm just going to go back to the tried and true. Pick Kayo. I know he's broken. Everybody knows he's broken.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's really interesting you say that. We had a little segment about Kayo starting the stream off about, you know, how is Kayo doing right now? And personally, and I seem to be in the minority, I think that Kayo is actually quite targetable. And so while he's clearly winning some of the smaller tournaments, I don't think he's going to do so well when it comes to the bigger ones, especially things like Worlds. I would be... And, of course, we've got Part the Mistveil coming out. It looks like maybe New could target him. So what do you think about Kayo's future moving forward and his ability to take these larger events?
Yeah, I think it's like pretty interesting. As we saw, like in LA, 4 out of 8 were Kayo, and I think we saw his dominance there as well. Like, obviously, we didn't see one in the finals near say, but he just has a lot of like power. You need like consistency, like. He has a little bit of inconsistency because you have to do, you know, all these draw discards and you have 6 misses in your deck. And but if you can get through that, like the percentage is so high that you should be able to get through that, like in a normal tournament.
Gotcha.
He has all these power cards like Cast Bones, Blood Rush Bellow to get you through there. He does struggle a little bit versus the warriors of the meta that can, and he is pretty targetable.
Yeah.
He's being pulled in so many ways, but his main game plan is just so consistent, so good
Sure.
that even though he is targetable,
Mhm.
and his percentage has not been like super good at a lot of these conversion rates. There's a reason why he's had 561 points
Yeah.
so far in coming out at heavy hitters. Why he's maybe not like the definitive best deck, but
Mhm.
he's the most consistent deck putting up numbers this season, and I think he'll continue to do that even through even through misfail probably.
Awesome. So you think he's here to stay? Maybe not for long.
Yeah, I would. He's like 50-50 if he's even at Pro Tour to Amsterdam, I would say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 50-50 Pro Tour to Amsterdam. You heard it here. I also have some questions just about you. I heard we were talking, you have a YouTube channel, you got some
do.
Twitter handles. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I do my YouTube content and my Twitter content are both at Mask of Momentum. Usually I kind of like troll on Twitter a little bit or like give my opinions from time to time.
Always fun to troll on Twitter, especially in Flesh and Blood.
Always fun. I always like reading what everybody else says and just being like, damn, these people are really dumb, and I can't believe they're putting this on the internet. A lot of the time.
That sounds like the Twitter I know.
Sounds like the Runaways.
Yeah.
And then so we're looking at and then for my YouTube content I do a lot of top 8 analysis. So I go over top 8s, watch the game, the quarterfinals, the semis, and the finals.
Sure.
Give what I see during the game, what I would do, some play lines that I think that are pretty interesting.
Sure.
Give them more of like analysis, point of view.
Awesome. So if people are looking for top 8 analysis, where can they go on YouTube to find that content?
At Mask of Momentum.
Mask of Momentum. So you just type into the search bar Mask of Momentum.
Yeah, it should
Awesome.
come up.
So we're looking for the channel called Mask of Momentum. Maybe if I had to guess, has a Mask of Momentum icon.
It actually doesn't.
It doesn't.
And, I should probably get that fixed. It's just
Maybe.
my face.
What is it? It's
Actually,
just your face. I mean, your
Listen,
face currently has a lot of momentum as you're 2-0. You've got the Mask of Momentum, possibly taking this entire tournament. We'll have to see how you do in the following rounds. If your
100%.
roll into KO is the right choice. Anything else? You said your Twitter handle that you like to troll on. Any other content or anything that you want to shout out to the rest of the internet here?
Shout out Metal Fab Tokens. For sponsoring me, obviously.
Sure.
For all your Metal Fab token needs, go to metalfabtokens.com.
And you said you were Team Runaways, right?
No. They're good guys.
But tell us about your team, because your teammate Dalton was somebody that you played against just now.
Yeah. Dalton's one of my best friends since high school. Actually, he's not near say on the Mask Momentum on the Metal Fab Tokens team, but he's from Team Vegas. We had to represent out here. But the Metal Fab Tokens team. Some names like Caleb, Patrick, Caleb, Bermajin Bay.
And this is all team. You could say Team Mask of Momentum, or you're just Mask.
No, Team Metal Fab.
Team Metal Fab Tokens.
Metal
I'm
Fab
so sorry. I got
good.
confused with your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So Majin, me, there's a whole bunch of us. Acro, Patrick.
And Majin Bay is the other infamous Kano player, right?
Yes.
So we've got. You really should just rename to Team Kano, Team Wizard.
At one point, it was really funny, especially testing for the latest PT, where we just kind of went to the testing house, and me and Majin were like, all right, so we're just playing Kano at the PT, but we'll test all these other decks with everybody else and make sure we know draft. But we're probably just playing Kano for the entire time. So
sounds like a blast. I love playing Kano.
Sounds great.
My 3 decks right now are Victor, Kano, and Dash.io. Actually,
ooh, Dash.io is really cool.
It's so fun.
Tyler Horseport ain't here, which is one of the Dash.io goats.
He's ripped his deck list right off of the internet, and shout outs to Tyler, man.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
It's a work of art. That deck is amazing. I still don't know how to sideboard with it. I just pile, but one of the coolest things is the pile is really good.
Yeah. I test with
works.
I test with Horsepole a decent amount. He's a friend of the team, and it's just he comes up with these wacky ideas and wacky decks, and it's just really cool to see the innovation on a hero that it's traditionally super hard to play, and also a lot of people put in when you look at tier lists, a lot of put Dash.io at towards the bottom. But I actually don't think it's because the deck is bad. It's because the amount of skill and the amount of time that you have to put into that deck to make it into that B, that A tier is so much that it's so underexplored for the massive amount of player base that there is. We saw a little bit of glimpse when it came out. You know, the calling in. I want to say Auckland, but I don't know if it was actually Auckland, but like
Okay.
the Dash.io went XO into the finals, losing the finals there.
I see.
And that really put Dash.io on the map. And then it kind of fizzled out after
Sure,
a while. People
sure.
figuring it out before Worlds. But I think that deck is a lot better than what people think, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. More often. Hopefully, it's better in the next set. But boost, mech knowledge isn't as good these days.
Yeah.
With all the
Little-
warriors running around.
Right. Yeah. A little vulnerable to fatigue, unfortunately, but. I think that will wrap things up for us here. Thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah,
I wish
100%.
you luck in the rest of your tournament.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all in round 3 when we start up next here at AGE May Open.